Thank you, Lillian. This Flux was my first public art project, and I don't think that it would have happened had it not been a competition that was so open, as Lillian mentioned. It is also a project that is dear to my heart, and so I'm delighted to be able to share some of the things with you. So Flux is a project that had, in my mind, two components. There was the physical project, the making of these birds and installing them. And then there was the message. And the message focused on the subject of migration. It was not immigration, it was not, this is bad, this is good. It was more about, let's talk about where people have come from or how much we have moved around. So in terms of outreach, which is, to me, reaching out, it probably can be divided into two aspects, the general public, and then very specifically with K through 9 students, and in 2 of the schools that were closest to the site of the installation. And also involving Boston Architectural College students who some of them were my students, so some of my background is in architectural teaching too. How do we get all this group of people together, young people together, to work on this? So this is how more or less the structure of this presentation will take place. So for the general public, so this is interesting because when I was putting it together, well, it made me realize some of it is just plain marketing, plain letting people know that this project is out there, what it is, that it has a name. And so we have things like the websites. Then within the website, we had an interactive migratory route map. We had a Facebook page. We had the audio tour answering machine. The voices that you heard in that first video, in the first video, there were the only 3 people that called, but we made the best out of that. We had a presentation of short films. We sent postcards. We had posters, and we did lamppost signage as best as we could. So quickly, that's what our website looks like. CambridgeVlogs.com. If you're interested to know more about the project, that's a good place for you to go. This was developed by a programmer, and it's meant to, it's almost like a game in which you decide you don't decide, you tell us where you're coming from, which continent, how many people in your family have come in, and then you click on the map, and then birds start forming in sort of flock-like formation, and so the statistics change. It's a live thing. You can go play if you're bored at work. So it's a beautiful thing that was done by somebody who came to us basically and said he wanted to be part of this. Facebook. We only have 116 friends. We're a little disappointed. You would think we would have a little more, 1 per bird at least, but no. But that was a good way of communicating with the students and having friends that were not in town know what was going on. Our answering machine, it was part of an audio tour. And as I said, only 3 people called, but those were good calls, so we take them. We had a short film presentation that was done at the Cambridge Public Library that showed sort of various aspects of the project, and that was a very nice way of engaging the general Cambridge and our local community to come and see the sort of behind the scenes for the project. Our postcard, which there are thousands of them in the back. Please take as many as you want. I still have boxes. The poster, which became iconic. This is the lamppost that we suspended our birds from, and it made me realize how hard it is to put posters out in the world. You're competing with a lot of things, so I was very proud of whenever I got a chance to get a poster up. And bring your own tape, because, yeah. Next. Signage, we vinyl printed around, and Velcro put around the lamppost with a QR code. That's when I learned what a QR code was. For those of you that don't know it, that you're not alone. It's that funny little thing at the bottom right that some cell phones can scan. Mine still doesn't, but That's supposed to take you to the audio tour. That still just got us 3 people. And then education, which for me was a completely different thing. I wanted to do something that was meaningful, that was unique, and that was related to the project, but in a way, its own thing. And so we had the architectural college students who were working with us in every aspect of the project. We have over 500 students from K through 8th grade at the King Open School, and about 44 students in the 9th grade class of the Cambridge Ringenland School. Okay, next. So these are the activities. For the King Open School, those were developed by the students, and I'll show a video and some slides of them that had related to migration and the bird and what is around them. We wanted to have a moment for them to reflect on what their neighborhood looks like, what the street looks like, and did it change after we put the birds? And then with the 9th graders, we took a bigger risk and said, well, if you were to do a public art piece, what would it be? So if we can go back to the presentation, I will show some of these activities quickly. We had bird as sensor, where we're literally just using a flashlight and the bird to, like, the birds are reflecting where the sun is coming from. This was done with the K through 2nd graders. Kelly Mowers, she was part of the jury who selected flocks, and she was incredible. So she started working with the students even before we became involved. And so the students, each one made their own bird, telling with images and text about their heritage. Then we had them write in strips of paper, where their families had come from. We had wings with the very sort of naive idea that we were going to introduce the notion of drag, resistance to the wind. And so remember asking them, well, do you run faster or slower with the wings? And we know you think with this you go a lot slower, but the children were faster. So, had some educational merit. Then the maps. We had, I believe, 6 of them, and they were gigantic. I mean, you could roll over them, and that was a great opportunity to learn where the places were and actually get the children to draw with, pick a color marker, and then draw the route to Cambridge. So all of them converged in Cambridge. We had a programmer who helped us develop this map. You can visit it at map.cambridgeflocks.com, and you literally just put the city or country that you've ever lived in, and it uses Google Maps. It makes a sort of migratory route, and we stored those and eventually made maps of it. In the end, if you ask me, this is really wonderful, but it doesn't beat the markers on the ground. But it was an interesting experience. The photography, sort of collage photography, that was an interesting project with some of the older students. And then this was the exhibit at the Cambridge Arts Gallery, which Jeremy so nicely helped us put together with some of the birds, the maps, and the stories. And it was really amazing to see where all these children and their families had come from. I mean, it was apparent. It was apparent. This is not a made-up story like, oh, well, there are a lot of immigrants here. No, this was a snapshot in time that revealed that. With the 9th graders, this was fun. So we had Elizabeth Menzies, and they are literally across the street from the Cambridge Arts Council, very close to Cambridge Street. We took a bigger risk and allowed the students in groups to develop their own proposals for what would be, potential public art projects that involved issues of migration or sort of stories about their heritage. So these are some of the projects. They did a map of the world that was lit from the back. They had students come in and put a tack where they came from, and then later they would punch a hole so that the lights would be revealed. Paper cranes with stories. A flag man. the eyes, then the flags of the world. And then we then took the students on a field trip to see their work on exhibit, and it was really nice. And I have interviews of them. Can we go back? Oops, it's going on automatic. To reflect on their work and to see it out in the gallery. And to see the work that the K-8 students had done. So that's what we did to an extent, and so forward. Then how we did it. So the superstars, which are not here and deserve all the credit, are the art teachers. And this was really something I hadn't considered. We tried bilingual programs, we tried reaching all kinds of teachers, and it was hard. But the art teachers got it. They got it immediately. And then it made all the sense in the world to just say, we're going to work just with the art teachers. And these two women, Elizabeth and Kelly, were incredibly supportive and did a ton of work just to make this happen. Then there is a sort of team of managers or responsible adults, as we called each other. Rob Gilmore, who worked on everything but outreach. And then Brynja, who helped with all the marketing, the design, website. Josh and Christy did a lot of the education work. And that means coordinating some of our college students' work and then literally being there also with the classroom and being there with the teachers too. This is the team of students. There's 21 of them there, but there's probably more that didn't make it to the picture. It was their idea to put the bird on their heads. They were fun. And so this is the sort of, I wanted to talk a little bit about monies and grants. So the commission for the whole project was a $50,000 commission. We got a grant from the Boston Foundation for Architecture, which had never occurred to me that we could go get more money. And somebody encouraged me to do that, and that was very, very good and very helpful because it supported, they support work that was similar to what we were trying to do, and so it was fitting because we were working with architectural college students, and then we were going to take whatever we were learning and apply it to a K-12 population. That was $4,000. We applied for another grant, an LCC grant, that we did not get, but that's okay. So our total available money was $54,000 to do the entire project. Next. So in terms of support, that was money. This is support, from the Boston Architectural College, because I was teaching there at the time. The practice department, its own department, helped us, with grant writing. Through the Gateway projects, it made it possible for us to have a team of students that were in this for practice credits, which is something that they need at the college. And something I wanted to say about this project is that it's, in a way, very much done in a time, in a time of recession, of economic recession. And so a lot of things, people were available otherwise would have not been available, or students that needed to get a professional experience somewhere couldn't find it, so then they found it in this project, and we were, obviously greatly benefited from that. The college also allowed us a space to assemble things, store things, meet, and all of that, which is critical, especially since I was commuting from Newburyport by train throughout all of this. Matt Menalandri, who is, I think, in Iowa now, but he used to work for the Media Arts Studio, and he took it upon himself to coach one of my students and had some of his crew and help with all the film. For the project, and Paula Leoni, who is a dear friend of mine and a bilingual educator who helped us write the sort of educational outreach component from the very beginning of the competition and saw it through as a friend and until it was completed. I thought this was interesting. I just did it for myself. How many emails does it take? From Kelly, 97, from July of 2010. So this installation happened in April, so almost a year of emailing back and forth. And so you see the 2 teachers, 97.57, and then people within the team, 211, 231, 368. That's not counting phone calls, drinks, text messaging, chatting, none of that. And then Rob, who's doing everything else at 701. That's why he said, do you need help with outreach? And I go, no, because I need you to be in charge of everything else. Next. And I did budget, because I've been to several of these presentations, and we always are wondering, how much does this cost? And so I ran through my Excel file yesterday, and want to point out certain things. Everything that has an asterisk is not a believable figure in terms of what it should have been. So those are stipends that is like out of the kindness of their heart. I wish I could have paid them more. And then even so, the total cost, I would say, for outreach was about $12,500, which, had I not gotten the $4,000 grant, would have been about 25% of the project, which doesn't seem too outrageous if the rest of the project hadn't been so large. It's interesting. I think if most of the students logged in over 100 hours each, and so imagine that times 22 times, whatever, even minimum wages, that number would be much, much higher. And the same for all the managers. And that's only the managers for outreach. That does not include assembly. So these things are expensive, are very expensive. And I think my last slide. So lessons learned, I think, for me it's important that outreach is its own art project, because as an artist, I have a vision. I know what I want to do with my piece, and that to me is very important. At the same time, I don't want outreach to be, I'm just gonna show up and, hi kids, I'm an artist, yes, bye. No, I want them to, whatever it is that we do, however we engage them, that it is an art piece of itself. So that's to me really, really important. Surround yourself with talented people. If any of you artists here are of the anxious type like me, who needs to we're worrying all the time, and you need to talk, this is great, because then you're talking about your project all the time, and then you'll find people that will help you. Always ask for help, ask for discounts, and anything from vendors to local people, it works. And as always, allow everybody in your team to do their best. Get out of the way. At some point, you will be the weakest link, and it's a great thing when that happens. For next time, I think I will learn to delegate earlier. Listen when people tell me it's too much. Really, it could be too much. Budget appropriately. I think things get lost. We had all kinds of digital cameras, and things get lost in schools, no matter if it's college or or kindergarten. Things get lost. Food is very expensive. If you're applying for multiple grants, if you get one and you're waiting to hear from another one, I would keep it to myself. I don't know, maybe next time I would do that. When working with new media, and by new media, and I guess in my case would be the audio, that's something that I'd never done before. It has a great potential, but I didn't have the support to make the most out of it. And so you wonder, well, was the money spent on that really worth it? We could have done without. Because it was not, if you don't have the people that are going to really help you make the most out of that thing that you're paying for, maybe it's okay to not do it, so that you don't stretch yourself out so thinly. This is kind of picky, but get media releases signed early, just like we had to do tonight, to be on videotape, so that you can make the most out of your documentation. And that's always a critical thing. So I hope I haven't exceeded my 20 minutes. I may have. I'm a talker. I'm sorry. But this is a hard thing to do, because it's a very long story. There are many, many things, and presenting it, trying to do a streamline is always hard. So feel free to ask any questions. Do you want me to stay here? You want me to go sit down? Good.